What a win against the Carolina Panthers. Let's dive a little bit deeper into it. What is up, Finn fans? Diving deeper into that Carolina Panthers Miami Dolphins game. And this was a good game. Got some stats, got some tidbits, got all that good stuff we're going to talk to you about. But real quick, before we jump to that, I got to shout out my guys at patchvibes.com. Be sure to go over, check them out. Pins, patches, hats, t-shirts, all that good stuff. Use the promo code DDW2. You get yourself 20% off. And don't forget about Backroom Collections. Fantastic, high-quality art. It doesn't have to just be the Miami Dolphins. It doesn't have to just be NFL. Any sports team that you like, hit them up. Backroomcollections.net. Use the promo code DDW. You get yourself 10% off. And they'll even, if you're like, hey, can you do a white background? Or, hey, can you change this a little bit? Hit them up. They'll be like, yeah, sure, why not? Super, super, super accommodating. Go check them out and get yourself some fantastic artwork. Miami Dolphins, such a big win yesterday. Thought to myself, let's dive deeper into it. But before we get into that, I'm going to talk about playoffs. I know. It's too soon to talk about playoffs. But the way the Miami Dolphins are going and the way the rest of the teams are going, it's a trajectory that I should talk about. Let's talk about the playoffs, and then we're going to talk about draft. So it's like two different ends of the spectrum, and then we're going to get into some stats and some really good stuff. So playoffs, right? Miami Dolphins are down there. They're not even shown in the hunt because the Steelers sitting at 5-5-1 are that very last team in the hunt. That being said, Miami Dolphins sitting at 5-7, having the Giants, the bye, and the Jets coming up. It's two games, winnable games. Not saying they're definitely going to win, but two winnable games. And again, a bye where we could sit back and root against these teams I'm going to list. The teams ahead of them are Cleveland, Indy, Raiders, Broncos, Chargers. Those teams ahead of them, and the Chargers are the 7th seed, have one game ahead of the Dolphins at 6-5, and then 6-6 for the Colts and the Browns. So they got one game on them. So if the Dolphins do what they need to do and beat the Giants and these teams, again, I'll talk more about this in the picks video that'll be out Thursday, who we should root against. Dolphins can sneak. If they win and a bunch of teams lose, sneak in there and all of a sudden be one game out of the playoffs. Sitting there at 6-7. Also, we have the Bills, the Bengals sitting there. Well, the Bills and the Bengals at 7-4 in the other two wild card spots, only 2 games behind them. So again, I'm not saying, we're definitely going to the playoffs. I'm not saying any of that stuff. But all I am saying is one game at a time, do what you need to do, but sit back and watch. Like the bye week, we're going to be sit back and watching. And then talk about the Tankathon, essentially where we are sitting on the draft picks. Right now, like I said, we're at 5-7. We are the 10th pick, but the Eagles have our pick, so they're the 10th pick. We beat Carolina. Carolina is the only 5-7 team. And then we have Atlanta, New Orleans, Philly, and Indy, and Cleveland sitting at 6-6. So again, we could keep dropping down if we keep winning, and then San Francisco's at 6-5. So we need to keep winning, and San Fran needs to start losing, and I think that'll flip around for us. So again, just giving you guys a little bit of an update on where we're sitting playoffs and in the draft pick race. Now let's talk about yesterday's game, and let's talk about just the players in general. I'm going to start with Tua Tagovailoa. He did great yesterday. Was it? I wouldn't say great. Sorry. Let me take that back. Really good. It was great. He probably would have added a few more touchdowns. But people underestimate, right? They look at his stat. Yes, he has 80% completion, back-to-back games. Only, 4 other quarterbacks have done it in the history of the NFL. A stat that shouldn't be overlooked, having back-to-back 80% completion games. Fantastic for Tua. And they see the one touchdown, and they're like, well, there's only one touchdown. But they forget what he did and the plays he made and him throwing and stepping up into the pocket and making the moves. So we had a really good game yesterday, right? Among quarterbacks that played 8 games, Tua is tied for 15th with a quarterback rating of 94.7. Herbert has a 96.5, just above him. He is 8th in the NFL right now in QBR. Now, QBR is an ESPN stat where they take in different things, whether it comes to how the play is, like, is this a play to win the game? All that stuff they take out. And he is 8th in the NFL right now in QBR stats. Top 10 quarterback. I'm not calling him one, but in QBR stats, top 10 quarterback. Full game stats. So he finally has played 16 full games, and here are his stats. 67 completion rating, 3,515 passing yards, 220 yards per game, a 90.5 passer rating, 6.8 yards per attempt. He has 27 total touchdowns, including his rushing touchdowns, 12 turnovers, 9th in QBR in 2021, again, ahead of Patrick Mahomes, and he was 26th in 2020. So after a full season of finally playing, he's actually pretty good, especially for his first year, first 16 games. That's pretty good. What other stats do I got for that? That's it. So Tua, after his first 16 games, after yesterday's game, showing that give him a decent line in front of him, he could do some things because he's playing behind. And again, you could say whatever you want. Hey, your pressure's getting there, but why don't I see the sacks? That's because of what he's doing. It's because of him evading the pressure. The kid is slowly but surely getting better as the season's going on. And it's because, and me and Big O talked about this, everyone looks at Fitzpatrick. Why does Fitzpatrick play so well behind this offensive line? Because he's used to playing behind garbage. Same reason why Zach Wilson is struggling. Same reason why Trevor Lawrence is struggling. Same reason why Justin Herbert struggled behind a horrible offensive line. In college, these guys are used to playing behind really good offensive lines. Zach Wilson played behind the number one offensive line in the nation. Now he's playing behind garbage and he's struggling. Tua, after 16 games, is like, oh, well, now I know what I need to do because these guys can't block for me. Pointing at the tackles. So now I know what I got to get the ball out quicker. I got to step up. I got to do this. I got to do that. Yada, yada. And you're seeing it as the season goes on, as the games he's playing goes on. It gets better and better and better and better. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll see how the offseason goes. We'll see what the decisions are made in that aspect. I know some people want to move on from Tua. Some people don't. I'm saying he's gotten better, and then I'm going to leave it at that. Talk about the O-line and how bad they are. Pass blocking win percentage of 45. It is ranked last in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns are ranked first with a 70%. 70. I'm not even going to look up the pressure percentage. I'm not even going to look at time in the pocket. I'm not going to look up any of that stuff because it's bad. The offensive line is bad. So I just want to throw that in there real quick because I don't want to talk about the offensive line too much because it hurts my brain. Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips. That's his actual name. Second. He is second in his draft class with 8 sacks after yesterday. Right behind Mekhi Parsons. And a lot of people were saying, Russo. Should have took Russo. Russo's better. Russo had 2 sacks against us. I could have had 2 sacks against Miami in front of that offensive line. Jalen Phillips is starting to come into his all. When it came to PFF grades, 25% of the snaps from yesterday, Jalen Phillips, 90 PFF grade. Jalen Waddle, 87.5. Andrew Van Dinkel, as my father likes to say, 82.8. Christian Wilkins, 78.8. And Javon Holland, 78.6. A lot of defense, only one offense on there. But Jalen Phillips slowly, Jason Taylor, his first rookie year, only had 5 sacks. Jalen Phillips is already up to 8.5. So many people were nervous. Why? Where is he? Where is he? What a bust. What a bust of a pick. This and that. Now, all of a sudden, 2021's draft with Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland. Our first 3 picks are looking like studs. Absolute studs. You hit on your first 3 picks? Come on. I'm happy. Extremely happy with that. I want to talk about Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay had a press conference, and they asked him about coming here, and he said as soon as he got here, he went right to training. He went right to the facility, learning all that stuff, and he talked about it, and it hits you right in the heart. His little boy crying as he's getting on the plane, and he said he doesn't want to move again. He doesn't want to do this again. This is where he wants to be. And after the way he's played, after that block that he picked up, Eichenberg letting the guy go right by him. He goes, picks up the block, Tua steps up in the pocket. Again, we'll break this film down on Wednesday. Steps up in the pocket, gets the ball to Waddle. Waddle takes it up the field for 50-something yards. Whenever we were in passing downs, they would put Patrick Laird back there. And it was a telltale sign. Oh, they're passing. Patrick Laird's back there. And then when Gaskin's back there, he can't pass block. So it was more like, they're going to keep a tight end in or something, so they're only going to have 3 routes run, blah, blah, blah. Now with Philip Lindsay, we're going to be able to have him back there, and we can play action it. We can keep him in to block. We can have him go out on catches. We can hand the ball off on a delay run. Having him in there is going to seriously give our offense an expansion. And I'm excited for that. But I'm not saying that he's going to overtake Myles Gaskin, because he is another small back. He doesn't have the durability to be a 3-down back. So have that 1-2 punch with him and Gaskin is fantastic. The guy who might be on the odd man out is Savon Ahmed. He might be looking out like, what about me? Help. But the Philip Lindsay pickup in the waivers, I made that video. I was like, this is intriguing. I'm excited. It's paying off after one game, after a few snaps, but it's so far paying off. Really, really excited. Yesterday's win, just 4 in a row, doing our thing, makes me very, very, very excited. 4-0 in November. We're undefeated in November. Got to keep it going. Got to take on the Giants. Don't take your foot off the gas. Don't look at the bye. We're not having a bye, Miami. Don't look at the bye, and keep playing your heart out. But be sure to comment below. Let me know what you think of the stats I'm adding, the playoff standings, the draft picks, all that good stuff. And I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. This comment comes from Chris Hollis, and he says, comment of the day. If the Miami Dolphins continue to win and win out and slide into the playoffs, do we still reconsider the coaching staff, or do we give them grace and continue on with the next season? If Miami keeps going at this trajectory and they keep winning and then eventually get to 10-7 and then eventually hopefully make it to the playoffs and whatever happens there, I think regardless, I don't see Brian Flores getting fired. If you guys remember, you can go back and listen to the stuff I've said. I never really thought Brian Flores was going to get fired. If the losses kept happening, it would be a conversation, but I was always like, I don't know if I'd pull that trigger right now, blah, blah, blah. My thing is the offensive side of the ball, there needs to be changes regardless of what happens with this team. The offensive line coach, even the coordinators, things need to be changed on the offensive side of the ball, because the defensive side of the ball is doing their thing. And that is Brian Flores' bread and butter. It's that defensive side of the ball. Me and Big O are going to talk about this in tomorrow's video, but I understand that people don't like that he wants to move on. That's his opinion. I respect his opinion. And I even said it in tomorrow's video. I respect his opinion, regardless if I agree or not, because the points he makes aren't wrong, regardless if you agree or disagree. My point is, he needs to show that he can build an offensive side, and Big O has seen for the past 3 years he can't. So that's why he's like, I don't want to wait anymore. Me, on the other hand, I want to see if he can do it. But then I don't know if he can do it because he hasn't been able to do it. That's where his struggle is, Brian Flores. The offense. We need a good OC. We need a good O-line coach because we have the talent. To give up on Eichenberg and Austin Jackson and Hunt and Kinley already just doesn't make sense to me. I need to see them with good coaching. So they need to, but I think regardless if they make the playoffs or not, I think on the offensive side of the ball, definitely coaching needs to be changed, which sucks because it's 3 years in a row under Brian Flores that the coaching needs to be changed on the offense. So we'll see how that all pans out. I'm just looking forward to the Giants. I'm going to have the entertainer on. We're going to break down the Dolphins-Giants game. Good friend of mine, Giants YouTuber. Go check him out. But other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow with Big O. Me and him are going to be talking about a lot. Yes, he is going to talk about Brian Flores, and just listen with an open mind. Well, other than that, guys, like usual, stay classy and fins up.